So if you know anything about the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, it talks about the fake Jews. That's the Catholic Church. I know nobody would think that, right? Because you think, oh no, it must mean Jews, but they're fake. That would be them. Because they came on the heel. And I'm saying this because for simple reason. Jesus and the disciples, they were all Jews, right? So Christianity came from them. And then the Catholic Church came along right after they were all dead and then created their whole own doctrine, lied about history, everything, lied about everything. And then created this sickness, disease around what Jesus's word was. And then put out that, we're the first church, we know the Bible, that's the fake Jews, the fake Jewish religion. Mm-hmm. That's why it's the synagogue of Satan. So look, I just put up a video showing that they're now saying that these bishops or cardinals, I forget, they're going to defy their U.S. law in Washington and not report child abuse. And you know how they're getting around it? Is that, well, because of confession reasons. They say that if any of their priests or cardinals or any of their people come to them and have abused a child, they're just going to excommunicate them. So see, their fruits don't change. They never do, because again, it's been rooted in, that's why, if you really, their historical child abuse problem gets worse over time, not better. Because they want it to get worse. They do. It's filled, a filled demon church. God is going to rain holy wrath down on it. He is, especially with this new thing, with them defying this, and they're using, the confession booth. I mean, like, I'm a mandated reporter as a nurse, like police are and other people, where if somebody reports abuse to us, we're mandated to report it. They're the only people on the planet, though, the damn church, that ends up protecting the actual abusers, mandates themselves to protect the abuser. So God, when he says vengeance is mine, he's going to nuclear bomb that place. He is, especially after that. So just stay clear, because wrath is coming, really. But it's even worse. I just did a video about how they put, they cut off the limbs of their saints and their popes, or they just put them on display. They preserve them and then put them in a museum. But it goes further than that. So a lot of people know about the catacombs, right? And it's not just at the Vatican. They're in other places. So I was reading this article, but just so people realize, the Capuchin crypt, which is the catacombs, in Rome, is located beneath the Church of Santa Maria. Cappucinia, beneath the Church of Santa Maria, and was established with the support of Pope Urban VIII, who ordered soil from Jerusalem to be brought for the crypt. While the Vatican oversees the broader Catholic Church and maintains a relationship with the Capuchin order, the catacombs and crypts themselves are managed by friars and their local religious communities. So the Vatican still has influence, though, because they're the ones that were commissioning and blessing the church and the crypt, providing land and spiritual guidance, and then handed it over to the friars, which is that's a Franciscan arm of. So it's all these fathers involved. So it's not just under the Vatican, it's under other churches, all time. So God is going to, look at all the bathhouse idols they have there, okay? And you know why they don't destroy them? It's because, if you look in legend, it's because many people, because what they're finding everywhere right now is all of these statues. Yeah, I was going to try to show a couple of those articles, in the past several years. And what they do is they take the statue and put it like in an empty pool, or just dig a hole and then put dirt on it. But they don't want to just shatter it, even though God in the Bible said, what, you know how many times he mentions idols? 101 times. 101 times. Just idols. Idolatry, I didn't look up. But you know what he wanted, he done. This is the reason. Like the Vatican and the Catholic Church proved the Bible. That's one thing. It's really hard to believe any scholars can't put that together. It's so disrespectful putting your popes and people, their actual bodies, preserving them and putting them in museums, and the way they say that this is, oh, it's about art and history and culture. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. And the reason they don't want to destroy the statues is because they're afraid they still have spirits in them, and they're superstitious that something bad will happen if they destroy them. Well, then something bad can happen to them. But I was reading this article about these catacombs and this guy that went in them. He was a photographer. This was back in 2014. But he had to pay special money to go into them, where he could take pictures. He'd get like 2 hours, and he had to pay like 200 euros. And then they just take your money, and then they'll, take you there and then close the door, and you get your 2 hours to walk through it. And he said it's just massive and eerie. He didn't have a lot of pictures. I'm just showing what is up of it. But this goes even further. So the Vatican, they'll preserve their popes and their, clergy, whoever they want, or whatever part of their body they want to, and they'll preserve it and put it on display, even if it's the whole body. The catacombs, though, goes much deeper. Like he said, they would have in one room just all these skulls. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Who does this? Who does this? And so he said here, the embalming process with the catacombs is like they keep everything down to the tissue, and it's like some special way they do the embalming. And he said there were these certain rooms, which was really telling to me. He said the crypt holds up to 8,000 bodies in its holdings and dates back to the 16th century, when the practice of embalming and display was reserved for the founding monks themselves. It was not until later that women and tradesmen were allowed in, with a special chapel reserved for virgins, brides for Christ, children, and professionals. And from the article I'm reading, this was one of them. This goes back to 1920. This was some child actress, and Rosalia Lombardo is one of the last corpses to be admitted to the crypt. She was a Warholian superstar of death, an incorruptible child of pristine lamentation. Master chemist and taxidermist that embalmed her, Rosalie's tiny corpse, to near perfection in 1920. He had a guarded process of embalming in his manuscripts, which recently has been rediscovered, suggesting that Rosalie's preparation was a near alchemical multi-tiered process wherein the body was worked in several stages with blood and body fluid replaced by glycerin. This process differs greatly from the Catholic tradition of the incorruptible or saintly preserved bodies, where most of the tissue was covered in wax. The latter method makes it painfully obvious that the layers added were hiding the deteriorating flesh underneath. This is it's so sick. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, there's no saving that church. God's going to destroy that church. The hour spent documenting these sentinels of death was a confounding experience. It was one of slight trepidation, but overall fascination to share a close proximity to the morbid Catholic reflection upon the body. And this was also from the... So look, this is Crazyville with the Catholic Church, okay? No, they are the synagogue of... There's no doubt. And since they're not Jews, they're fake Jews, bringing this fake message of what Jesus' word was. Yeah, they crossed the line a long time ago, and they don't know what's coming. They don't, because they always get away with it. Yeah. I would just stay clear.